Buying a property is on the list of the 10 most exciting things people do in life, but it's also on the list of scariest things people do in life. And if you're a first-time home buyer, that's going to take it even to another level. And I find that education is everything. So in today's video, what I'm going to do is go over the most popular questions coming from first-time home buyers in Canada. We're going to break them down, give you all the information that you need to make sure you're prepared to get into the market. My name is Tom Story, and I run a real estate team here in Toronto. And over the past 9 years of selling real estate, we've helped hundreds of first-time home buyers. We've seen all the things that are stressing them out, all the little hurdles that could come up along the way. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything that I wish I knew when I bought my first property. Okay, so let's get into the question. So the first question is, what is the minimum down payment in Canada? Okay, so this one comes up a lot. So up to $500,000, you can put 5% down on $0 to $500,000. From $500,000 to $999,999, just under $1 million, you can put 10% on that money. So if you buy a property for $600,000, you'd have to put 5% on the first $500,000, which would be $25,000. And then on the last $100,000, from $500,000 to $600,000, you have to put 10% on that amount of money. So that would be an additional $10,000. So your total down payment minimum in Canada would be $35,000 to buy a $600,000 property. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, if you go over $1 million in purchase price, you have to put down minimum 20%. So that would be $200,000 on $1 million or more, depending on the purchase price. I should also mention that even though there are minimums, regardless of the purchase price up to $1 million, if you put less than 20% down, your mortgage would be insured. And that means your payment will be slightly higher, obviously because you're putting less money down, but also because you have an insurance policy on your mortgage. If you put 20% down or more, you would not have mortgage insurance. Okay, now on to question number 2. Are there any first-time homebuyer incentive programs in Canada? Okay, so there are. I don't love the programs we have in Canada, to be honest with you. I think it's just the government trying to get a piece of your property, but I will discuss them quickly. So there is a program based on minimum income, household income, and the amount that you're going to purchase, and it's depending specifically on where you live. I'm going to link below. There's another video I did specifically on this topic. If you are buying a new construction property, the government will sometimes loan you up to 10%. And if you're going to buy a resale property, they will loan you an additional 5%, but they share in the equity in the future. So when you sell it, the government gets their money back and they share in the profits. The other one to mention is the first-time homebuyers land transfer rebate. So in Toronto, we pay double land transfer. We pay municipal and we pay provincial. Everywhere else in Ontario, you just pay provincial. So the maximum credit that you can get is just a shade over $8,000. It's like $8,400 that you could get back. Now, they call this a rebate. It's not like you pay it and you get it back in the mail, like mail-in rebate. It just comes off automatically. So the maximum you can get off being a first-time home buyer is just over $8,000 in Ontario. Okay, so the next question is the difference between the down payment and the deposit. Okay, so the deposit is part of the down payment. So the down payment is the total amount of money that you're putting down. Let's say you're buying a property for $500,000. You're going to put 20% down. That is a $100,000 down payment. Now, the deposit is roughly about 5% of the purchase price. So the deposit is what you give when your offer is accepted, and it sits in the brokerage or lawyer trust account until closing, but it is part of your total down payment. Now, the deposit will differ depending on what market you're buying on. In some markets, it's as low as 1%. The typical rule of thumb in larger markets like Toronto is roughly 5% of the purchase price. And the next question is, I don't think I can save as fast as the market is moving. What should I do? So this one, we have these conversations with our clients all the time because when markets move really quickly, it's hard to save at the same pace, especially when you're not leveraging the bank's money moving into the market. So one of the things that I talk about a lot is teaming up with somebody else and buying your first property with them. We've actually had some great examples of this working with clients that we've represented, and even myself personally, where I'm filming this video right now. This townhouse I bought with a good friend of mine 50-50 because at the time, neither of us could have afforded to do it on our own. But because we both got together, this townhouse has gone up over $200,000 since we originally purchased it. And that leverage is just so hard to get if you sit on the sidelines. So if you team up with somebody that you trust, I would probably recommend family before anybody else, but that is a way to get in the market. I sometimes see a lot of times people say, I want to wait to do it on my own. But in markets that are moving upwards, and again, it depends on where you're buying, you're falling behind every single month you don't get in because you're not leveraged. All right, so we've got 2 questions left. The next one is, how do I get started? So pretty straightforward here. You want to get started by building out your team. You're going to need a few people that are going to help you throughout this process. Number one is your family. I think you should sit down with your family and discuss what your goals are in real estate and how you're going to reach them. That's always going to be number one. Number two is you should connect with a realtor, a local realtor in the area that you want to buy that understands fundamentally how the market works and takes an educational and not salesy based approach. The third is you want to connect with a bank or a mortgage broker. Being pre-approved is absolutely essential. You should not go out and view properties before you know exactly what you can afford. And number four is you should connect with a lawyer. You're going to need a lawyer to help you from when the property goes firm until closing. That's the team. Build your team around you. That's how you start. Educate yourself as much as you possibly can. Go on YouTube, watch other videos like this, talk to your friends about what their experience was. Talk to as many people as you can, because an educated buyer is a buyer that makes great decisions. And now we're at the final question. And the final question is, what other fees are associated with buying a property other than the down payment? Okay, so there's basically two big ones. The first one is lawyers. So depending on where you buy and the different marketplaces, I would put away about $1,500 to $2,000 for what the lawyer fees are going to cost, because that is cash on closing. And the other one is land transfer tax. Same thing with lawyer fees. It cannot be put into the down payment or into the mortgage. So it's cash that you have to have sitting in your bank account on closing available. So that is different than the down payment. You got to make sure that you have those funds available. A few other things that can come up. Inspections cost money. If you're doing a home inspection, it's usually on the buyers to pay for that. Getting appraisals done on properties, depending on which lender you're using, you'll sometimes be on the hook for paying for that. And then insurance, when you buy the property, you're gonna need to insure the property that you own, but that kind of comes after the fact, after you've already bought it. All right, so there's your recap. There's kind of like the big questions that I think I would want answered if I had to start the process again. If I missed anything or you have any other questions about buying your first property, just drop it below. We've helped a lot of people buy their first properties, and it's been so cool to see people get into the market, build equity, build appreciation, run up that property ladder. We have clients that, 7 years ago bought a condo and now they're living in a detached property because they've been strategically getting into the market and moving up when it made sense to do so. My last piece of advice is buying your first property can be nerve-wracking. Nervousness and excitement are actually the same thing. There's a reason you get nervous, because it means you care about it. And I think that's really, really important. And there's two approaches. You can take the emotional approach to buying a property, right? Or you can take the numbers-based educational stats approach. There's no right or wrong answer here, but just never start placing your furniture until you actually get the offer accepted, because there are so many variables. So focus on what you can control, surround yourself with great people, and keep laser focused, because it always works out the way that it should. Thank you so much for watching. If you got any value out of this video, if you could hit that like button at the bottom, maybe click subscribe on that channel, that really helps our videos get in front of more people. Have an amazing day, and remember, home is where your story begins.